Hey friends, it's Miss LaShana. Today I am going to read a book called One Good Deed by Terri Fields. One Good Deed. Even on sunny days, Lanchester Street seemed dark and gloomy. Neighbors did not smile at each other, or talk to each other, or help each other. It seems like a very sad neighborhood. But one day, as Jake climbed his blueberry tree to pick his ripe fruit, he saw old Miss Thompson outside her house next door. Suddenly, he had a thought he'd never thought before. I bet she's sad she can't climb trees. I could take her some of these delicious blueberries. When Jake arrived, Miss Thompson was so surprised. She was delighted. She had enough fruit to make 2 blueberry pies. Then she had a thought she never thought before. I love getting these blueberries. I bet Mr. Riley next door would love one of my pies. Blueberry pie sounds pretty amazing, y'all. When Mrs. Thompson arrived, Mr. Riley was surprised. Mr. Riley was delighted. As he ate his delicious pie, he looked out his window and watched the kids next door playing ball. Suddenly, he saw the ball land on the roof of his garage. Then he had a thought he never thought before. I bet I could help them. I could take my ladder and get their ball. Neighbors helping neighbors. How nice. When Mr. Riley handed them back their ball, Jeffrey and Joshua were surprised. They were delighted. As they tossed it back and forth, they saw Mr. Lee hobbling on his crutches to his front door. Then they had a thought that they never had before. Mr. Lee can't rake the leaves in his yard, but we can. When the boys arrived with their rakes, Mr. Lee was surprised. Mr. Lee was delighted. So soon they were joined by Sammy from next door carrying a rake. My computer is broken, so I can't finish my homework. I'll help you rake. Then Mr. Lee had a thought. You're right, a thought he never had before. I'm good at computers. Maybe I can fix Sammy's computer. When Mr. Lee arrived, the Cohens were surprised. The Cohens were delighted. And before you knew it, the computer was up and running again. When Mr. Cohen sat down to check, when Mrs. Cohen sat down to check her email, she looked out her window and saw Ashley from next door riding a rusty old bike. Then She had a thought she never thought before. We had a practically new bike that Sammy has grown out of. It would be perfect for Ashley. When Mrs. Cohen arrived with the new bike, Ashley was surprised. Ashley was delighted. She rode her new bike around the neighborhood, waving and smiling and calling, "Hello, hello," to all of her neighbors. Ashley was excited about that new bicycle. The neighbors were surprised. The neighbors were delighted. Everyone waved and smiled right back. Soon, even on gray days, Lancaster Street seemed warm and sunny. How had that happened? No one knew. Why do you think that happened, friends? Why do you think everybody was so happy all of a sudden? Everybody was happy and waving, and everybody was surprised and delighted. Not even Jake realized that it had all begun with a basket of blueberries and one mitzvah, one good deed. It started by good deeds, friends. All right. That's the end of that book. Again, it was called One Good Deed. Friends, feel free while you're at home to help mom and dad out with, maybe cooking or cleaning or even recycling. You can help your parents out around the house doing different things. I hope you enjoyed this book, One Good Deed. Until next time, friends, I will see you all later. Bye.